How do I even begin to say this? By my limited understanding, the best I can do in asking the Creator for guidance and sifting through the lies that were told to me for centuries, well, it seems like centuries, for years, is that we're living now at a time on a planet which is going from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. It's been granted that authority. It's been granted that right. It's a long-suffering planet. It's one of 22 planets unique in the fact that they let on all types of life forms to see if those, at least, that had a higher spiritual intake could live together and help those who didn't, including what was called the most tragic thing ever happened here, when the laggards were brought here from space. After that, instead of the good teaching the bad took over and pretty much began to teach the good. So we got a problem here. It's a long unsolved problem. And once you begin to understand that you believe in egg hatching and in synthetics and in cloning, because you don't have everlasting life and don't have a soul, then you can see when their kind of scientists begin to take the fore, you got all kind of problems now. Now we got a problem because we've got all kind of mixtures here. There's a movie that comes out every so often, The Island of Dr. Mabuse, and some others, by which you see a genetically mad scientist engrafting animals into insects and insects into animals and people in both, just creating a whole new clone society. Well, that's still going on. At Dulce, New Mexico, it's going on. At Pine Gap in Australia, it's going on. And who knows how many other places so secretive and clandestine that we don't get to hear the truth about it, but we see the results. Hear about chupacabra. Nobody can understand what a chupacabra would be. I have pictures of a chupacabra. We hear about spider people and alligator people that they create in Dulce. Horrendous experiments that are going on as you speak and sit in these seats that you have no idea about, or if you do know about it, you don't understand that some of these things have escaped. Some of these things were put on islands, and just like in that movie again that the Spielberg had out, the 3 episodes, some of them now have sprouted wings and are about to fly over some of our major cities. We have pictures at 9/11 of a pterodactyl. We have pictures of the devil's face being seen on third dimension and holograms all throughout the smoke, which shows that they're invoking even the lower heavens now to bring about what they're doing. We are in such a time now that without an awakening of people and a fighting to keep the drugs and things out of our systems, our last vestige of hope to keep physical bodies at this time will be gone. People are dropping dead right and left. They're sick. They're messed up in the mind, tension and tracks. You're getting your bills twice a month you get the same bills. You're getting reverse mortgages. You're getting, or as I say, in addition to all the ways that they messed up your food, your water, your consciousness, and just life on this planet period with the chemtrails and stuff that they're spraying every day too. So every day you go out and breathe. You do breathe. If you do breathe, you're breathing depleted uranium, titanium, barium, and aluminum every time you get a nostril fuel, because that's what they're spraying every day. And of course, one of the biggest questions should be raised during this election by these so-prime candidates: when are you going to stop whoever's spraying from spraying us, killing us, and giving us diseases, when you're talking about now trying to help people with insurance coverage and stuff? As long as you go out and breathe what's in that poison atmosphere, every day of your life is a battle. Problems are not enough. I want solutions. So I search and pray for solutions. We found many solutions. But in order to do the solution, you must understand there's a problem. And your biggest problem right now is every day you're breathing in things that are being sprayed. They researched that for 17 years to a guy by the name of Nikola Tesla and another guy by the name of, can't think of his name now, Edward Teller, who misused that whole project and set up what they call a force field to set up weather control. And that's what you're now breathing. So you got a problem. Not only is your melanin trying to come of age, but you got people who just test melanin because they don't have souls and serve gods who don't, who want to keep you out of it and dumbed down, comatose, brainwashed, inoculated, vaccinated, and encrypted, any two of which makes you useless to a spiritual society. You have now, in 252 major cities here in the United States, Chembio trails. You have in each of those cities a GWEN tower, at least one. GWEN is ground wave antenna array, at least that's what they tell you. It's 350 feet tall and has little things hanging all off it. When hit on its lowest frequency, because it's a low frequency vibrator, it will set up a ground waves 5 feet beneath the surface up to 50 feet above it, which is going to include most people and most homes, that will be of extra low intensity, and extra low frequencies are the ones that cook you from the inside out. They're the ones that destroy tissue. They're the ones that mess up the glands and organs and hormones. They're the ones that can be most detrimental to you. When that thing is turned on, you'll fall down on your knees, your eyes will be bugging, your blood brains will be bursting. It is a horrible thing to see in operation. They've already tested it. They just have not hit it on ground full yet. They're still putting them up. In addition to which, everywhere you look, you've got other small towers. They're called, in many cases, cell phone towers. Some of them are called government defense switches and cable towers. Two of the worst times on earth, I'll take that back, two of the worst times in the United States is 9 and 5, when people are going to work and coming back from work, unless you're nocturnal. Why? Because now you're hitting the highways and you do terrible things. You're either riding in a conveyance, electrical discharge, or you're driving in a road, a taxi, over-the-road rig or something like that, and you have to do two terrible things. You get in the car and you turn on the ignition, and the trouble starts. You turn on the ignition and you've got an AC there called an accelerator, alternating current again. And that accelerator, coupled again with the alternator, gives you a mixed AC, which causes automatically a low frequency, which can be problems to you. Especially since the car is supposed to be made and the chassis made of metal. With the new side impact laws, you have to have stress weldings to withstand an impact of so many poundage. So now, if it wasn't before riveted, it's now solid welds, which means the seat that you're sitting on is welded to the chassis that you're riding on, which already is receiving alternating current, which is a low vibration. But now, you have global positioning satellites. It's so fun. Tell you where you're going to go before you get there. It speaks to you and says nicely, if you go down a mile, you come off and then you exit here. And yes, sir, you have it. Well, this daggone satellite is now reading through an overhead satellite, which is not only charting you, it's giving you rays that you can't see in the metal of your car. In addition to which, you might even have the nerve to turn on a cell phone. I know you have to sneak and do it because most of the time you get a ticket if you do it. So you get real smart. You put on a Bluetooth and it blinks up and lets you know, I'm a fool, I'm a fool. No, I mean, that's not what it says. It says, I'm contacting it. I'm contacting it. I got on a cell phone. I got a Bluetooth. They just had a convention in Las Vegas in which all the electronic firms from around the world were there competing and showing what their latest scientific advances were. Out of that came the new Blackjack and the new Blackberry. Samsung put out your Blackjack and Blackberry, I forget the other company, but anyway, it's not important. They have now found out, check me out. I always want you to research me because then you appreciate me more, and hopefully again some of the other things in, you might even give it a chance to see if it sinks in and if I'm really telling you the truth or not. A milligauss is a unit of measurement by which they gather the Gauss of a magnetic field or the electrical output, simply meaning this. 2 milligauss is as much as a human body can take. When you go to the 3rd milligauss, you can get in trouble. Radiation poisoning, glands, organs, blood, brain, anything else. Both the Blackberry and the Blackjack radiate 100 milligauss. How many didn't hear what I just said? 100 milligauss. That's only 98 times more than your body could take, and people are calling themselves getting a smartphone for dummies. That's the dumbest move you can make, to get a smartphone radiating you 98 times over what your body can handle. You're going to see people not only stressed, you're going to see people driving crazy through the streets. They're going to start dropping down arguments. They're going to shoot each other. You haven't seen any death yet. Wait till the heat hits. This is insane. Absolutely, abhorrently insane. I don't know another way to call it. It's idiocy. Unless somebody doesn't want you alive, or wants you sick, or wants you under control. When you're in that car and you put in the Bluetooth, turn on the radio. If you got one in there. If you got one, you ought to have another. If you got enough money for one, you ought to be able to afford the other ones. When you got it on AM or FM, it goes by, you hear, you just got radiated. Which means now you're frying yourself just like a microwave oven. And if you eat food from a microwave oven, please buy a diode before you leave tonight. Let me explain the principle of a microwave oven. It works on a klystron tube, which is a vibratory sound emission light machine, and it grades out water that's heated. The reason why the plate is cold and the food is hot is because the food has moisture, and the moisture is now heated with radiation, and you eat it as heat. And you're eating pure, raw radiation every time you take it hot. How long do you think you can do that before your body pays? Not long at all. And most of your bodies are already paying because you are eating it to go along, as we said, with the bad water, with the bad air, with genetic modified food, the chemtrails. And then you go and you get a shot. Not a booze, a vaccine.